Hello and welcome to another special edition of the Go Fish Village podcast. I'm the founder of Go Fish Village, Joshua Mercer. Well, we help everyday people like you create financial freedom through real estate. Today we have a very special guest in the building. I'm talking cranes 40 under 40, all the way from Roseland. Man, Bradley, DePaul, but most important, Kellogg.
Hello.
Man, CEO, Chicago Association of REALTORS. Did I say Delta Sigma Theta? Did I say Happy Founders Day?
You got to do that.
Man, Happy Founders Day.
Thank you.
So
Thank
we
you.
got none other than right, she got that paraphernalia on. So you know when you come in her office, you know what time it is. But we got none other than the CEO of the Chicago Association of REALTORS, Miss Michelle Mills Clement. I knew of her when she was Michelle Mills, but anyway, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks. Glad to be here. I know we took a trip down memory lane. I don't think I knew you were on my little brother's baseball team.
Yeah. Back in the day, man, at our Ridge Park,
Yeah.
way
That was
back in
like
the
I
day.
think my first job. No, my first job was at Ridge Park.
Oh, I got something else to tell you, but I'll say that off camera.
Oh,
Say
okay.
that for later. But anyway, thanks for coming on.
Yeah. Glad to
So
be.
proud of everything you're doing. Every time I see your name, I see it in lights. You cracking that glass ceiling wide open and
Thank
being
you.
an inspiration for not just minorities, but just for everybody.
Thank
And taking over the association, man, 15,000 members. So
you. Mm-mm. 16,000 plus.
16,000 plus,
I think as
man.
of today, we're at about 16,600. Give or
Wow. So I need to get it right, man.
we've grown.
Man, she treated me like a Neo. Man, that's rough. But anyway, tell me about your real estate journey. I didn't know you were in real estate like that. Then I looked up, it was like CEO. I'm like, damn, I know her. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
What was that like? And how did you get that?
yeah. So I actually, my background is not in real estate. I'm not a licensed realtor. My background is actually association management. So I went to school for nonprofit management, got my graduate degree in that, undergrads in journalism, but I worked in nonprofit organizations. And at one point, I made a switch from like the charitable fundraising 501c3 groups to the trade associations and associations that are membership based. So I've had like healthcare groups, trade groups, so different things like you think of the American Bar Association or
Mhm.
American Medical Associations, they all have a staff team, and that is actually a career path. So I went down that road. I got certified in association management. I got my master's in nonprofit management and just kind of started climbing up within the association world. We relocated to Seattle now about going on 7, 8 years ago. My husband got a job with Starbucks corporate office. So that took me and us to the Pacific Northwest. And I'm thinking, there's no associations out here. That's all the biggest markets are Chicago and DC. What am I going to do? So I just started looking into that field in that area. And there was a commercial real estate development association, NAOP, that was hiring for an executive director. And when you have like a certified association executive designation, you can work in any industry of an association. They just basically can plop you in
Is
there.
that CAE?
Yeah, that's the
That's big
CA.
time. That's big
It is
time.
very hard to get. That was probably
Boss.
the hardest test I've ever taken, more
Really?
than anything I did in school. Yeah, it
Oh
was
wow.
intense. Hope to not do it again.
How
So I
long
can't
have you how long have you had it?
I just recertified for the third time, so that will be 9 years.
So when you recertify, is it just like continuing education or do you have
Yeah,
to okay.
just
Okay.
see. Yep. Thank God. Because being that test, I don't want to see it again. But yeah, so that was kind of where my background was. But when I got to Seattle, they don't know about association management in that part of the world or that country. It's whatever industry the association is, you're in that. So I was working for Commercial Real Estate Development Association. So according to them, you're in commercial real estate. And that's kind of when my journey down real estate went that direction because I had to learn everything I could. I went to the University of Washington and got a certificate in commercial real estate. and was recruited to apply for the Commercial Brokers Association, which is a commercial MLS and a commercial real estate school, and ended up with them.
Damn, that's dope. So it's funny that you say you're not a realtor, or you don't have that in your background, but you do have obviously the training to be a leader and to lead an organization. Was there like any like pushback at all when you were came to power?
You say at this association or the last one?
Well, this one, since we're talking about real estate, and I want to get into a bunch of stuff about it, but you know, cause I remember I was talking to my brother-in-law, and I was like, yeah, Michelle, I've known of her since I was a little kid, and he was like, yeah, man, she the new president, and she's never been a realtor. He was just telling me. I was like, oh, that's dope. You would think that you know I've sold real estate for X amount of years, but what you're bringing to the table is a whole nother skill set.
Yeah, because the thing about it is, like, I don't need to know how to buy and sell real estate. That's what the members do. That's what you all are the best at. My job is to run the association and ensure that we have the resources that you all need to be successful in your careers. So it's two different fields, really. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So it's good to have the knowledge and the background, and that's why I take a lot of courses in real estate that we also offer. I have the realtor certified executive, so I have that background, but I need to know how to run an office, and I need to know how to, what I mean, manage people, and I need to know how to manage a budget. That's what's essential for the association to grow. And if the association grows, then we're able to help the members grow in their businesses.
No, that's dope. So, and even taking it back even farther, one of the things that when I was taking a real estate exam, and I just recently passed it back in October, that I noticed was that it's still heavy in like a lot of discrimination, and like questions are on there. And I'm like, yo, this stuff, like, I hope people aren't getting these answers wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then when you see like when some of these things change, it was like 1986, 84.
Mhm.
Like it wasn't
Not that long ago.
that long ago. And then I started to research even further about like steering and blockbusting and redlining. Um, what are you doing to make sure things like that happen? Because we know Chicago is just
Yeah.
extremely segregated.
Yeah, Chicago's the number two most segregated city in the country next to Detroit. So when I
Oh, I
got
didn't know that.
here, yeah, when I got here, it was the 50th anniversary of fair housing about 3 years ago. I started in April, and there was this big celebration in Washington, D.C. with the National Association commemorating, this fair housing legislation that it passed, which made it, illegal to discriminate against individuals for various classes to purchase and buy or sell on real estate. And so I went to this commemoration, and it was really, a good celebration, and it brought tears to my eyes. And I think the thing that stuck out the most, to your point, is that these things were happening within our lifetime, or our
Yeah.
parents' lifetime. You know what I mean? So it wasn't that long ago. And when I was at the event, everything was great, but I realized the National Association never said, we apologize, because the National Association of Realtors and the Chicago Association of Realtors had a hand in the steering, the redlining, the blockbusting that you're referring to. Like, we were actively, encouraging that, working on policies around that. That's our history. We're on the
Mhm.
wrong side of it. That's definitely within our history. And I came in not shying away from that. That's not where we are today. That's not what we do today, but we can't ignore it and act like it didn't happen. And I
Mhm.
think a lot of times people got stuck in this, well, I wasn't there when that was happening, or we've moved on. That's not what we do now. This is how we are, showing who we are. But our board of directors issued a public apology at our 50th anniversary of fair housing. It was unanimously voted on, and we presented that as a starting point to kind of clean the slate. To give that trust back, because there are members of the association that in their lifetime were banned from being members of CAR. And
Wow.
that's fresh. And so I think if you don't start with some empathy on what that must feel like, you can't really move forward. But aside from the apology standpoint, we've done a lot of work. We started an external affairs department whose job is really to be good community partners and make sure that we're working with different organizations and segments of the community. We launched a listening tour, which really took me all over the city to make sure that I was in, different segments of the city so I can hear from members all over the place. So I'm going to the members. We've launched the 77, which is our diversity committee, and it's one realtor member in every neighborhood in the city of Chicago, all 77 neighborhoods. And that really gives us the boots on the ground that we need. Our fair housing course is currently being revised, so we're actually doing it over again. But we have offered fair housing courses since this time, since forever. But we also have offered as a free member benefit this year to really push forward in that. We've written op-eds in the Tribune as opposed to a lot of this information that's out there. We really emphasize training, but we also really emphasize reporting. If people don't report when fair housing violations are happening, we can't really do too much about it. If people aren't saying this is what my experience was, we can't do too much about it. So we encourage people to do that. We have a mini documentary on our website that we did on the history of Chicago and the fair housing space. And I encourage people to go view that. It's chicagorealtor.com/fair housing. And you can get all kind of information on everything that we've done and are doing and continue to do.
How do people know if they're facing like discrimination?
Mhm.
Sometimes it can be like an emotional thing, selling
Yeah,
or buying a house, and then you're trusting. Like me, when I take my car to the auto body shop,
right.
I'm just like, how much is it? you know,
Yeah,
they could
yeah,
tell me anything. How
yeah,
to. What are some tips or maybe some cues to kind of look for if you kind of think you feeling, like you're being
yeah.
discriminated against?
It is hard. And I think it's hard because, and I'll speak personally, as a Black woman, you experience racism so often, almost daily sometimes, that you become numb and you don't notice things, and things aren't as blatant all the time. And there might be small microaggressions you don't pay attention to.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had scenarios myself, in this role where I've tried to rent a home when we first moved back, and in a neighborhood that we typically you do not see a lot of African Americans in. And my realtor was told, oh, we don't take Section 8. And
Oh
she's
wow.
like, I never said anything about Section 8. And first, you can't actually deny anybody of Section 8. It has to be consistent or not at all. But I think the key is trust your gut. If something doesn't feel right, we see it a lot in rentals, renting transactions. So if you feel like there's a situation where you're being discriminated against, at minimum, raise the flag. Our members should be educated in knowing what's going on in fair housing and can advocate for their clients on their behalf if they see it from another side. But for the consumer, I say just pay attention, and your gut's not usually going to steer you too wrong on some things.
Yeah. No, that's a fact. So I mean, you're from Roseland, right? Or
London townhouses.
or Pullman.
It's
It's,
like,
it's a
I don't
difference.
know. It's right there. It's right there. So I grew up on 100th and Cottage Grove,
Oh,
in
okay. Well,
London.
that's the Wild Hunteds, right?
Yes. And then my aunt lived in Pullman. She lived in Pullman, like 111th and Champlain. So it's kind of like they're very different, but
Yeah.
yeah, right down the street. So I don't know.
Well,
They probably got a new name for these neighborhoods at this point.
Pullman has some beautiful architecture, as
Yeah.
you know.
Mhm.
But you're from Roseland, and did you ever imagine seeing yourself as CEO of, and just knowing the history of Chicago politics and everything else? Did you ever see yourself as being CEO of such a huge association?
As a child, no,
Mm-hmm.
but growing up, I definitely saw myself in some type of leadership
Mm-hmm.
capacity. When I was in high school, I wanted to be a US senator. That was kind
Oh,
of my
really?
goal. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So you was ahead of the game. You were ahead of the curve.
Yeah. I really got into politics. I went to Marian Catholic and took an American studies class, and I loved it. I just
Really?
loved it. I thought it was just so thrilling. And even in grade school, like studying the Constitution test. Like I love that. That was like
Are you
really
serious?
yeah. So I was thinking more along the lines of politics. So I always saw myself, in leadership. My mom, she always made sure that we were involved in different initiatives and activities, like after school activities. We went to school in Beverly. She taught in Beverly. So we spent a lot of our time and after school time in Beverly. So we had access to more things than I think we would have had if we had just stayed solely at around our neighborhood, which is unfortunate because you want to see these opportunities all over the city. But as a result, I was able to be involved in different programs and events, and it kind of really pushed my leadership abilities. I remember being in the beta club in like the fifth grade and really getting into like the election process of what that board looked like and those type of things. I think I always kind of was drawn to leadership. So associations, I didn't really always plan on that. I kind of just fell into this, but I think early on I knew that I'd be in some type of leadership capacity.
Oh, that's dope. And look at you now. I mean, that's amazing. So
Yeah.
what are some of the things that you want to like? What are some of the areas that you want to improve the association in now?
hmm So a big initiative for me was making sure that we were servicing all of Chicago, and not just there was a perception that we were really only catering to the downtown market. And I think we've done a great job really expanding our services and our presence. And COVID has made a big change in that. So a lot of initiatives we were planning to do, holding education in different communities, holding programs and events in different communities have been put on hold, but the virtual standpoint has actually been great because it's given us an opportunity to reach even further beyond who we probably would have met with if we only went by different segments of the city. But we do hope when we are able to get back in person, and I do believe we will be able to do that, to really expand our real estate school. So we have a real estate school. We're one of the only association real estate schools outside of the Illinois Realtors in the state. It's a very robust school. We hold courses usually here when it's not COVID, but everything is virtual now. But we're expanding that. So people that are interested in getting their license, taking your pre-licensing course through CAR, there's scholarships available. There's discounts for your license and your testing and whatnot. And then we also have the CE and the hot topics component for those that are in the industry and want to keep their license fresh. We're really trying to expand that beyond the good coursework that we already have. And another area is around leadership development. So, really preparing individuals in brokerage to look at opportunities around management, growing in their field. So, if they want to expand, open their own office, or they want to move into with a bigger brokerage and get into management. We looked at some numbers to see like how many minorities are, broker owners, or I'm sorry, managing brokers in our membership base that aren't broker owners, and there's not many, that are not broker owners. So it's really making sure that we have the talent and people are prepared to move up when opportunities present themselves.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
And so what I wanted to ask you, I know you mentioned COVID kind of making communication and allowing you to reach more people. Where do you see real estate going with with COVID? Because I know retail has taken a hit, and residential, has it's a seller's market. A lot of people want, you know, their homes to be, have different, offices and outdoor living spaces. Where do you see real estate going?
I see it, I really see it still rising from the residential side. I see it. There's a lot of buying and selling going on. I think the condo market downtown is definitely taking a hit. To your point, people want more space. They want that at home space to work from home. So the studio apartments are kind of dying. Studio condos or small one bedroom condos. People are really looking for like those one plus den options. But single family homes, like townhouses, duplexes, that more space, it's skyrocketing right now. Commercial on the office side and the retail side, I don't know. I think I was on the COVID-19 recovery task force for the city of Chicago, and there was a big emphasis around restaurants coming back and what that was going to look like. I can walk to work now and I see about 4 or 5 restaurants that have completely closed
Wow.
that, have been kind of staples in the neighborhood. So it's definitely something that's going to be felt. I don't know. I wish I had the crystal ball to look and figure it out. But I think the residential market is strong. I think people will get back to the office. People want to come back. We have a staff of about 42 here. We are currently shut down again because of the latest stay-at-home recommendation, which we are following. But I have people that want to come back into the office. They miss the camaraderie, they miss the separation of home and office, and
Yeah.
so I think we will start to see
Probably
people.
tired of being with their spouse.
Yeah, they're also and their kids. I'm hearing that too.
Yeah.
So
I got like four friends that are all pregnant right now too. So,
yeah, that'll do it.
but no, I think that's pretty cool. So I'll wrap up. So in one of my philosophies is, at least I think that real estate is a great investment or a great tool to
Mhm,
create wealth. I always tell people, first time home buyers, unless you pulling down a serious bag at your 9 to 5,
mhm,
I'm of the mindset that your first purchase should be a multi-unit. I
mhm.
I started my career. I was a 7 year CPS teacher. My first purchase was a multi-unit building. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I've heard that a lot. I've heard from a lot of people saying to get the multi-unit, get your investment going. I say if you can do it, do it. I didn't. I didn't want to be a landlord. I was for some years when we moved, and that's not my ministry. But I mean, there's wonderful property management companies out there that actually can help you manage your multi-unit property if you are concerned that you can't do it.
Hmm.
So I will say that in hindsight, I think that there's resources out there that you can do it. I think it's a great way to build generational wealth. It's a great way to keep home ownership in your family and down your line. I know of many people that have done those type of projects and brought their family members into the units. That sometimes works out, sometimes it doesn't work out.
Oh
So
yeah.
you need to make sure that it's going to be a positive investment for you and work with the realtor who is knowledgeable in that space for sure. You want to make sure that you're working with someone that understands multi units and can get you the help, especially if you haven't done it before, and not be afraid to hear your million one of questions if you have them. But it is a good opportunity, especially if you're single. I would say that looking back, that's a good move.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, if I'm a person that is looking for a realtor or a real estate professional, what how should I go about finding that person, and not just finding somebody that's a realtor, but finding somebody that's knowledgeable?
I think word of mouth is probably the most powerful tool. A
Hmm.
lot of realtors get business from referrals, and asking your friends who have purchased homes or purchased investments, who did they work with? But I caution people not to always just go with the first person. Talk to a few, talk to two or three,
Hmm.
find out who various individuals are and make sure that it's a fit for you. Every transaction may not mean the same person. So make sure if you're buying a new home that this person is versed in first time home buyers. If you are looking for, the other piece of that is a good lender. So if your realtor should be able to help you to find a good lender if you don't have one. But if you want to go the other route, because you do want to try to get pre-qualified before you start looking, there's a lot of lenders out here that have a lot of programs for first time home buyers, a lot of grants available. Look in, Google is your friend on some of those spaces, but communicate with your realtor. I think you should also ask a series of questions, around what their comfort level is. How do they like to communicate? Will they be available in the evenings, on weekends, all hours of the night? I think the difference now is consumer side. We have access to listings essentially through different type of portals that are available online, and realtors still have the MLS. They're always going to have the most accurate data and the most accurate listing information. But it's really important that you determine, how do you both want to communicate on that? Is it both of you looking, or is this person picking something for you? So making sure that you have a good rapport. And if it's you and a partner or a spouse or a sibling, brother, mother, whatever, make sure all of you all are comfortable as well.
Do you have tips for finding like contractors too? This is a question for
Mm,
myself. I need the contractors and property man, all those
yeah,
little
yeah.
ancillary,
I don't have specific. Of course, I have like in my mind my own personal list, but actually, a
yeah,
car we are going to be launching this year a consumer website that will have all those type of information there. It'll have different contractors you can reach out to, different things you need once you have purchased the home. What do you do? If you have purchased that investment property, how do you get it fixed up? Who can you contact? So we're hoping that that's going to launch maybe in the next 2 quarters, I think. But it's in the works, and it hopefully will be a resource so people that have purchased a home or considering buying a home, just to get all those type of tools and tips and tricks that they may need.
awesome, awesome.
When I have that, I'll make sure you have it too, so you can push it out to your listeners.
Absolutely. Please do.
Mhm.
Michelle Mills Clement, thank you. You've been a wonderful
Welcome.
guest. So
Thank
proud
you.
of everything that you're doing.
Thank you. You
Um,
too. You too.
I'm expecting even more bigger and better things. But yeah, thanks again for coming on the show. If you want to watch this show in its entirety or shows like it, please check us out at www.gofishvillage.com, where we help everyday people like you achieve financial freedom through real estate. Thank you.
Thank you.